Welcome back, everybody. And I haven't done a whole lot of running of cars in the past while. I've been pretty busy with work and doing some new designs for some boxes. I've got a new box that I'm going to put out that's going to be geared towards wooden tracks. It's going to be sort of kind of like a race management type thing. I know that there's some programs out there that do lap counting, but this one's going to be geared towards allowing for fuel stops. So if you don't have fuel programmed into your race software, this is kind of an external thing that will just run the fuel calculations for a wood track. And then I'm also working on a part of that box is going to be geared towards lane changing. So it's going to have some sort of electromechanical device that will toggle the lane from, or toggle the car from, say, the driving lane to the pit lane. So I'm hoping to get that going here in the next couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for some parts to come through Amazon. I've got the logic already built and the design on CAD's already assembled, and I've got some prototypes already built that work. I just need to be able to put all the pieces together and test it on a track. So obviously I've got my track here. This track's been here for about 3 years now. I am working towards building a wood track. I'm going to build a wood track that is 7 foot by 16 foot. This one here is 5 feet by 18 front to back. So it's going to be a little bit shorter in length, but wider. This is the track that I've got in mind here. So we got 5 foot by 16 foot. It's been drawn as 3-lane, but I think that I can expand the lane width by another 1.5 inches to get 4-lane track. But ultimately it's going to start at the start stop right here, and then kind of a whole shot to this first turn. Again, I'm going to put together some sort of electromechanical device to operate this pit lane area. So the pit lane will enter here, and then it'll exit back onto the track. And then this section here, I was going to ideally turn this into a bit of a hill, and then the downhill part will be kind of here. So you'll have a bit of a, maybe not off camera, but a downhill couple of turns you'll have to navigate before this kind of 120-degree turn. And then this will be flat, and then I think these 2 turns will try and bank a little bit just to kind of give them a little less, maybe a little less prone to deslotting on these kind of 90-degree turns. And then kind of a quick little S-chicane before the start-stop finish again. Driver stations, I had thought about putting them external of the track, but I think I'm going to try and get them on the track itself. Here I might still have to build them off track just to try to maintain the full track, you know, get the track as close to the edge of the platform as I can. This is kind of what I had in mind. Green spaces, I was thinking about putting some grooves here just so that you can lay cars down and have all 4 wheels touch. I don't think there'll be a ton of scenery. I'm not really sure I want to do, you know, what I've done with this track with the bushes and the signage and, you know, all the decorative stuff. I think this one might be just a fairly raw wood routed track. We'll see. I mean, you know, this green space here, might be able to build it up with the spray foam like I've done here, and maybe put some AstroTurf just to kind of give it a bit of depth. It seems kind of a waste to just go completely boring, flat, painted wood. But I don't want to create another 12-month project, if you know what I mean. Race control box. I might put the race control box here. The one that I'm developing is going to be responsible for counting the laps as well as operating the pit lane entries. The pit lane itself is going to have photo eyes similar to the start stop, that when the car crosses it, it will disable the power to this lane section for 5 seconds to simulate the actual pit stop. So as soon as the car crosses that, it'll kill that lane section, regardless of whatever trigger inputs you're putting in. Along with the photo eye, each of the driver stations will have It's called a NeoPixel LED strip that has 8 LEDs, and these LEDs you can program the colors. And so similar to those Carrera plug-in driver stands that show a fuel level, I'm going to program this box so that as you complete X amount of laps, the fuel bar starts to deplete from maybe 8 lights green down to 5 bars yellow, and then once you get to 2 bars it'll turn red, and then once you cross that pit lane eye, stop for 5 full seconds, that fuel bar will climb back up to green. And that box that controls that system will have a little rotary dial, and that rotary dial will allow you to select the maximum allowable laps for that fuel bar. So if say you wanted to run a endurance race for say 20 minutes or 25 minutes, you can crank that dial up to 15-20 laps, so that every driver has to do that amount of laps at the maximum before they stop. Or if you're doing say you're doing a short 3-minute race, maybe dial it down to 10 laps. Dial it down a bit so there's more stops that are happening within that 3-minute span. Or if you don't want to do fuel at all, there'll be a little toggle switch to disable that fuel necessity for a race. And one of the nice things that I'm going to implement with this pit lane thing is there'll be a switch that you can toggle that will either enable it to be open, so pit lane open, or pit lane closed. It'll just disable the pit lane altogether. And the pit lane will be operated by the driver stands. This button here is for the pit lane entry. So when you're driving and you look down and see that your fuel level is getting low, you're going to reach down and push this button here, and this button will change your gate from the racing line to the pit lane line. When you enter the pit, you just release the button. One other thing that this track is going to implement is the driver penalty system. If your car comes off the track, push this button really fast, and it's going to disable your entire lane for 5 seconds. And that'll give the turn marshals that are marked on X's on this drawing a 5-second window to get your car sorted, put back in the lane before you can actually drive away. This track will be the testing grounds for this box. So I'm hoping that with any success, might be some people out there that are interested in a product that does timing. The Arduino system can communicate with external race software like Fast Laps or any other race management software that's popular with clubs. You'll get the lap timing, you'll get the pit lane delay, you'll get the opportunity to install the electromechanical servo systems that operate the lanes themselves, the lane changers, driver penalty system as well. They'll all be built into one box, and the driver stations will all be equipped to connect to that box. You get a full wood track experience that involves fuel and pit lanes. For the time being, I just wanted to do some running of some cars that I've picked up over the past couple of weeks and months. Some things are, new cars that have come in that, everyone seems to be excited for, but I've also picked up some cars that are quite old, a little bit more collector type things that I'm really looking forward to showing you guys. And, over time I'll look at tuning them up and getting them a little more whiz-bangy, track ready. Anyways, let's just we'll get into this and I'll show you the cars that we're running one by one here. So for the lap timing, I'm going to use this lap tracker. It's a little bit more basic than your standard Smart Race or whatever other programs are out there. Basically just runs off of a simple gate system. So if you go to the main screen here, you can set it up for 4 lanes. You can set up the width and height of the gate itself. And then you can set a minimum detection time. So if you accidentally run your hand over the sensor, anything less than 5.5 seconds, it won't count. And then you can set how many laps so that it stops counting after a certain time. So I'll just quickly show you this part here. You can see the gate is there. Just I'm going to get a car on track and I'll show you how this works. Another thing here is I've got the flashlight turned on. You can see the background there is a little bit brighter. I just find it picks up the cars a bit better when the flashlight's on. And I've got my phone plugged into my power supply that's powering up the analog side of things, so it's not going to kill my phone. Okay, so now I've got the track power on, and I had to turn my power supply on. Obviously my phone wasn't charging before, but now it is. So if I drive this car through the gate nice and slow, you can see it turns yellow. It's picked up the lap, and within 5 seconds it's not going to pick up another lap. There we go. So no ghost laps, no accidental missed laps. And the nice thing about all this is when you start a race and you turn the volume up, it will speak the time nice and clearly.
10.25.
So you can just listen in on your laps.
7.38.
And then anything that's shown in red is your fastest lap. So you can look through the whole list of laps. And then when you're finished, you can go from the display mode here and you can send your overall laps to an email with a CSV, a comma separated value table. So you can, develop your own little way of processing that information to make a nice race report for your friends or whatever. Anyways, let's get into it. First car we're going to run is this one that I've painted myself. This is a white kit from Scaleauto, Porsche 977, if memory serves me right. Sorry, what does it say there? P991. Nothing too crazy done to this other than just the paint itself. I'm running these Bobcat slot tires on the back. I find that these are they work really well, and you don't have to true them all that much in order for them to be round and fast. So we'll give this car a couple of laps. Maybe we'll do about 20 or 25 laps just to show what it's capable of. Start. All right. There's no time like the present. Ready, set, go. Get in the 7s here if we can.
8.33.
Ooh, we're not going to get in the 7s by doing that. Just get the tires out. Quick.
9.96.
Oh, that's not a lap. Let me count that one. Try this again. A little more hiccup now. We roll in the 7s on this one.
7.96.
That's it, in the 7s, looks like.
8.08.
15.
8.17. 8.04.
Back in the 7s.
8.04.
Oh. Not sure what lap we're on here. I'm going to take the mirrors off on the new car. This lap 13. Go to lap 13.
24.
got this. It's gonna be good.
8.08.
More tail wag than I recall, but yeah, this thing's only got tires on it.
8.7.
No weight. I don't think the tires have been properly true, just straight out of the bag.
8.29.
Oh, it's good. This looks like a decent lap.
8.13. 8.08. 8.13. 8.08.
Gonna be a little bit more emphasis with the trigger.
8.21.
Working with me.
8.13. 8.17.
One's pretty consistent here. There's just a few spots where that's the last lap. Okay, so third one. Let's have a look here. So we had 7.92, and then we're looking at a roughly 8.0 to 8.2 average, aside from all the D-slot laps. Still a good car. Feel like it could be a little better if I get some tuning into it. The rear axle's got quite a bit of play here. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, kind of shim it. Let's see if I can get that to be a little less shaky. Well, overall, it's a really nice car. I don't have a clear coat on it. I'm afraid to put one on and have all these decals bubble off. But I feel like it looks pretty good, considering this is my first white kit. I've seen someone on Facebook, they've done both Rexy and Roxy. I do like that pair, that duo. So yeah, maybe in the future I'll dive in on another Scaleauto white kit with the sister car. Okay, so our second car is this one. This is a Avant slot. I'm pretty sure it's been a number of weeks since I've taken it out of the package. I bought a bunch of cars from a gentleman in our local club, and he had these 3D chassis pods. I'm not really sure what the branding is. There was no stickers on it saying what this was. I'm sure there's somebody out there in slot car world that knows what this is, but it runs a slotted pod, and this is just the stock guide from the Avant slot. It's a little bit stiff. It kind of feels like it wants to hold its position when you turn it one way or the next. Every once in a while I give this a quick oil just to loosen it up. Again, it's the stock braids. Pretty much everything is stock except for that 3D chassis. Now this car's pretty fast, so I think that 7.9 that we did with the Scaleauto Porsche is going to get smashed by this one. So let's get this on track. So, oops, let's get our counter reset. We got track power. Yeah, we're still at 10 volts. Give this thing a quick spread. You can hear this thing just has boatloads of torque. It's very light. It's a nice car. I'm really happy with this. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but it's pretty darn good. So we get our race timer going. 25 laps. Let's see if we can best our 7.92. Lightly fast. You want to protect the car a little bit. It's not the case of where you can just pin it, but then the wings start riding on the fence lines a little bit, and then you turn the bond there, it's going to rip the wings right off one of these cars. I haven't been paying attention to the lap times, but 7.5 is probably within reason.
7.7.
It's pretty protective. Let's see if we can do a really nice fast lap.
7.75.
Whoops. Alright, so I'm going to do any fast laps that way. What are we on here? 12. Just not sure on our camera is still going. Looks like we're good. Alright, we'll cover that. Cool down lap.
36.50.
I'll give it 7.5 or 2.
7.7.
Ooh, just
16.88. 7.96.
I'm lost with this car.
7.75.
Infield here. Looks lower infield there.
7.79.
Oh, take the bar one. Go figure.
7.83.
A little bit smoother on the throttle, see if that gives me anything.
7.79.
30. Ah,
7.75.
wow. Well, that's it. I know. Yeah, this is one of my new favorite cars. This will be one of my club race cars when we do IMSA class or Le Mans. It's a pretty nice car. Yeah, if anyone knows what this chassis is, send a message in the comments. I'd really like to see if there's any more of them out there. Looks like I'm missing some screws. It's funny that these pods, when you buy them brand new, they only come with a couple of screws, not enough to fill all 4 ports. Let's move on to the next car. So the next car, this is one that I picked up from the guys in our club. It's a ProSlot Toyota GT1. I know there's some folks out there running GT1s from VOL.01. That's the one, VOL.01. I don't own any of those yet. I haven't had an opportunity to try one, and they don't sell them in our local stores, but if anyone wants to comment on which one to get. Trouble with getting new brands is as soon as you try to get one, you gotta get a fleet of them to compete against each other. Anyways, with these ProSlots, I picked up 3 or 4 of these. Some of them are the same color. There's a yellow one and a blue one, and I think I have two or three red ones. So I'm gonna see if I can strip the paint off of one and create a green one or something, so that I can have a set of 4 different colors for when I do maybe a club race. I can do a host class of Toyota GT1s from ProSlot. Anyways, this car is pretty much bone stock. I've thrown some tires that I had bought. I don't know what brand they were. They just were marked Toyota GT1 ProSlot. So I slapped them on, and this car works fairly good considering that it's quite literally just a flat black chassis plate. You can see here the wing's kind of loose. We'll glue that back maybe a later date. All right, let's get the tires scrapped a bit. The tire that I put on has not been trimmed. Scrubbing in there, you can feel there's a little bit of imbalance. Fix that another day. Okay, let's reset our timer. Here we go. 25 laps. So we got a best of what was it, 7.75. I don't think we're gonna best that with this car, but let's give it a go.
14.38. 7.92.
Oof, I was gonna say we're doing great, but then we slaughtered under the bridge here, which is always an awkward recovery. Let's try it. That's bad.
19.54.
I'll do it that time.
7.58.
2.5.
7.54.
Yeah, this looks faster. Oh, it feels a little less scory in the
7.46.
one turn. It doesn't have the top speed that the Avant had.
7.58.
We're doing to 67.5.
7.54.
Right infield stuff is pretty much do it nearly full throttle and only 10 volts.
7.46.
U-turn over here. There's no kick out. There's no rear end slip. I feel like in the back.
13.08.
Oh, that was a bunk lap there. Let's just. I'll get the thumb and hand in a read like that. Let's see if we can
13.00.
put a couple more 7.5 in.
7.63.
This is guide work. This one it seems to be picking itself out of the guide. Brushes are too rigid.
7.7.
Let's get that lower.
7.58.
Oh. 7.4 maybe. Ah.
7.50.
Oh.
7.63.
Let's get a really good one. Go, go, go.
7.50.
Oh, 5.0. Let's make it a 4.9. Oh, on my left here, left.
7.63.
Trying desperately to get that 5.75 bested. What can you do? That's 2 laps left. Come on.
18.67.
We'll do this.
7.50.
Ah, killing me. I think that's the last lap. Anyways, maybe. It's a waste of lap with a D-slot. Yep, that's it. That's all there was. So that's a ProSlot Toyota GT1. Bone stock, just tires. And it's already as fast, if not faster, than a Avant slot with a slotted pod. It's a pretty good car. Okay, so the next car we're going to run is a Scalextric. This is a fairly new one that was released, I think, a couple of months ago. It's pretty much bone stock, except for these Bobcat tires that I put on it. No weight, bit of grease, tires. That's it. I don't suspect that this is gonna break any records tonight, but it runs quite nicely for a bit of a land yacht. So we'll get the tires scrubbed up here. And these tires haven't been trued with these Bobcats. I don't even think truing is 100% necessary unless you're
86.53.
Yep, let's not go with that time. Okay, let's get her going. Oh, it's 7.5.
14.27.
Toyota GT1 from ProSlot.
8.21.
8.2. That runs nice.
8.04.
A tail wag for a car that's quite heavy. Oh, I spoke too soon as I tried to go full pin around the back section.
15.92.
Right. I'm going to jump on the power early here to get a good round on the straight.
8.33.
Okay, clean. So the goal will be an 8.0 here. Big goal.
8.17.
8.17. 17.
8.29.
Slowing down.
8.21. 8.08.
1.08. Changing my approach in the back section here. 1.21. 8.77 and the 2.1.
8.29. 8.21.
Look at a faster motor, a little bit of weight, and the chassis moving.
8.29.
Quite a bit of weight on the body. Low weights,
8.38.
higher beams.
8.21.
Ooh, we're getting really fishtailed down on the bridge.
8.33. 8.29.
That's it. No. That's it for that car. It's a good car. I think we do run like an IMSA class in our local club. This might be a fun one to run. You know, it's going to get its ass swamped by anything that's Scaleauto hypercar or you know, anything that's not a Scaley. But if you haven't gotten this one, it's a good one. Looks good.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Okay, the next car here. This is a Carrera DTM Porsche, not Porsche, blah. BMW M3 GT3. In our local club, we run what's called a DTM class, Carrera DTM. Typically, when we run this class, you'll see kind of a mix of everything. There's some older Carrera DTM cars out there that if you guys run, I've got this Beamer. I have a couple of Audis that are all DTM classed. And then we have a rule in the club where you're allowed to run a Piranha motor. I think it's 25K limit. Obviously, I've taken the chip out. It's just the braids. That plug that comes out of the braids is wired directly to the motor. This one, I think, still has Paul gauge tires on it. We'll run this one just for fun. Give our tires a quick scrub. Right, we set our timer, and away we go. We're going to get into the 7s with this, I think. I think I got a bit of a braid issue here. Give me 1 second. Just give the braids a bit of a comb.
28.73.
A little bit of a disconnect. Off the top in some spots, and it feels like it's coming off the rails. Other spots. And on the back, in the bottom of that bridge there, it feels like it's underpowered on the bridge. What is going on with you? Just give the braids a little bit of a downward rake.
15.50.
A little better.
8.88.
A little too flush with the bottom. I have higher hopes that this thing will be faster.
8.38.
And the straight line is good, but tight stuff, it's acceleration.
8.29.
Too fast for the Carrera car, only 10 volts. You know, the Carrera typically runs on 14 volts, so this thing would be a torpedo at that one. With this 35 km/h. We run 10 volts at our tub, so it's pretty much 10 volts on the tub. 8.2 something was the best figure out of this thing. They won't lap her on, but it should be moving soon, I hope. There we go. Alright, that's the end of that one. Let's move on to maybe the last car for the video here. Alright, the last car is the first Policar I ever bought. This car is quite something. I didn't know what kind of quality to expect from Policar, but being that it is a slotted product, I shouldn't have been surprised that the quality is quite outstanding. A bit tricky to take apart. I mean, there's a lot going on in a very small footprint. The complexity of how the exhaust pipes kind of intertwine with the, I guess I shouldn't say the exhaust pipes, but the faux suspension that's kind of connected to the body here and how it integrates with the axle. A little bit of a, I wouldn't say frustrating, but definitely had to pay attention on how you put this back together once you take the magnet out. But overall, it's a great car. It came in a really nice collector box over there, you can see in the distance. And really all I've done to it is greased it up and put on some Bobcat slot car tires. Really I'm digging these Bobcat tires. If you haven't tried them, I think the only place you can buy them currently is on Etsy. But I would highly recommend them with any tire rim combo that has the really high profile machine grooves like any NSR type tire. The fabrication quality of the tire itself has the grooves built into it, and so the fit and finish of these things is second to none. I would highly recommend you give them a try. Anyways, let's get this car on track and see if we can beat a 7.5 that we had done with that. I remember what car it was, the Toyota GT1. Let's reset our timer. Here we go, 25 laps. This is the last car. Give the tires a scrub. Give them a fighting chance of beating that time. Here we go again.
$11.39.
Cross your fingers if this is gonna work.
7.88. 7.71. 7.67.
A little loose or something.
8.04.
I can feel heavy trigger finger here.
7.75.
7.76.
7.79. 7.83.
Yeah, we nailed the gate though, that's good.
7.79. 7.83. 7.79. 7.92. 7.75.
13.
7.92. 7.83.
All right.
7.63.
Oh, don't count that one. Ghost laps, shadow laps. Should be called further away.
13.50. 7.92.
Okay. Well, it's not the fastest car in the...
20.83.
Oh, for real? Still counting.
6.83.
Disregard that 6 second per lap.
8.08. 7.83.
I can change my gate timer to 7 seconds.
7.88.
I'll get those mistaken underscoring laps.
7.88.
10.5, I think we'll go best. It serves me.
8.04.
I'll keep the R1 stuff tidy. That's it. Sure that last lap was good. You never know. Alright, now we're officially done. There you have it. Policar. It's a great car. I've got 2 more that we'll showcase on another video. They're still bone stock in the boxes. No tires for them yet, but Bobcat Slot will get an order from me very, very soon for these cars. Well, that concludes this video. I've been holding on to this one for quite a while, trying to edit it. It's just time to release it. I think the next go around we'll do a few less cars just to make the videos a bit shorter. So first up here we've got our Scaleauto Porsche. We ran a 7.92. This car is ready to hit the track. I just need to put a clear coat on it to get it all finished up. And secondly, we've got our Avant slot Pescalaro with the 3D printed chassis. We ran a 7.54 with this car. This car will fit well in our IMSA class in our local club. I can see it setting the pace for sure. I think the big surprise for me was this ProSlot and how quick it was. At a 7.46, it's definitely the fastest car of this lot. And for that, it deserves a crown. Nice. Not to be overshadowed by the Toyota, this car was quick for what it was. At an 8.04, I know this car has a bit more on tap, so we'll see what happens with it with a little more tuning. And hey, who doesn't like a bit of Carrera fun? Our local club likes to run this DTM class with a 21.5 Piranha motor, and to be honest, the racing's competitive and the car class is quite fun. And lastly, but not leastly, the Policar. We just started running open wheel class in our local club, So I think this car might make an appearance in the next couple of months. So far all we've run is NSR 86 through 89 and the modern 22s. Well folks, I hope you enjoyed this one. I took a bit of time on this with all the different camera angles. I think for next time, for both your sake and my sake, I'll make this video a bit shorter, maybe 2 or 3 cars tops. I'd like to make this project No Shelf Queens a regular thing, just to showcase these cars rather than keeping them hidden. So you can try and find the cars for yourself and enjoy them the same way that I have here. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.